So, for those of you who have just joined, this is the Passing Show and live from the bunker. Hey, and Dan's with us now.
Hey, how are you? What's up?
So, I was feeling like you were saying no earlier.
No, no, it's just I kind of just got up. I didn't just get up, but I've been up for a while. But I just been, one of those mornings. Not exactly an encouraging day for me, starting off the day. So it's good to talk to you, though.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. So, yeah, I didn't realize you've been facing this litany of no's the last 6 months, you said?
It's been at least 6 months, man. It's just like
Man.
it's ridiculous. It's like the world has just got. It just feels like the world's got it out for me right now. I just.
Well, you got to take up a position at the cafe.
I think it's.
Like,
I feel like I'm like a baby again. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like when you get rejected constantly about everything you're doing, it really hits on your like your self esteem and you start to really question.
you
Am I
know what I
really that
really
shitty?
heard?
Am I really that shitty?
What I really heard was how much you've done for others in the course of your of furthering
I mean,
others' careers.
I've
And
tried
it's
to,
like,
man. It's weird. Like I say, I spent a lot of time in my career trying to help other people in similar situations, and also in the jobs that I've had where I've been able overseen people or whatever, and I've always tried to help people if they, either get promotions or
"Ah,
get better jobs or go somewhere else. But it feels like now when I need help, it's like everybody's just completely disappeared on me. I can't
I'm
get,
sorry to laugh, but
I
it's
can't,
kind
I
of
know,
ironic."
I can't get a phone call returned. It's just like I feel like I'm on some sort of blacklist that I didn't sign up
Blacklisted,
for.
right.
I feel blacklisted. So,
The
I don't know.
world has
I don't know what I
conspired.
did. It feels that way right now. And then the
There's
whole
this
writing
little
thing.
guy on the edge of the cliff, right? And then bing, kick him off.
I tell you, the writing thing is just going absolutely nowhere. Which is, I'm
Um,
fine with that. 10 years has been the case, so I understand that one. So I'm used to that. Yeah, the
I
other
just
stuff
don't
is
think you've been
it's hard.
discovered yet.
Yeah, right,
I'm your agent here, and I
right.
think what we need to do is
Yeah,
amplify your signal
correct.
louder.
I don't think so. Maybe I need to be
And
a little bit quieter. That's the problem. Maybe they're too loud.
and just like Bruno said, right? We've got
Right.
just gotta insist.
Uh,
And the
yeah,
louder we are and the more often we repeat it, the more it's true.
yeah, right. That's right.
And it doesn't matter
I'll
what
say
it
it.
is.
Right. Yeah,
Oh, you know
exactly.
who I was just listening
I
to
have
though?
tons of money. I'm rich. I'm actually rich. I have tons of money. I don't need a job. I forgot to tell you that. I don't need it. I
Well, I'm
forgot.
glad.
I
I'm really
forgot. That's
glad
right.
for you.
I won. I'm working. People
Just
are giving me
piles
money
of
left and right. They're reading all my shit constantly and sending money in the mail. It's great.
I get like $6 every so often. It's
Right.
great.
I get pie envelopes just to show up full of cash at my door all the time. No return address even. They're just like, here you go. Take it. Do whatever you want with it.
So if you're listening to us, subscribe to Dan,
Right.
Everyday
Paid,
Journalist.
please, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
It's
paid
only 8 bucks.
subscriptions,
I do
please,
the lowest.
only.
I
We
do the
do not
$30 a
need
year. $30 a
neither
year.
of
It's
us
the
need
lowest
more free
Substack.
subscribers. I
Right.
mean,
That's
there's
right.
freeloaders,
That's
and
right. It's the lowest amount Subscribe will let me charge. $30 a year. I would charge less if I could, but the system will not allow me to charge less. So just so you know that. So it's the lowest amount
yeah.
I can charge, which
Well,
is
I
$30 a
recently
year.
became I thought I was a founding member, and I recently went and upped myself to founding member level, so
Oh, you
there
did
you go.
for me. I mean,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I
I
did.
didn't even know I had a founding level. I know I had. I wrote something about. Did it cost you more money, or did it the
Uh,
same price?
at same price, same
That's right.
same benefit,
It's the same benefits. Yes, same lack of benefits.
same perceived
Right,
benefits,
perceived
and
benefits. That's right.
there's this
Yes,
aura,
early
like,
access of all that stuff.
well, it's the aura,
Well,
really,
thanks,
that
man. I appreciate that.
is
That's really
attached to
nice. Yeah.
that.
I'll have to look at my stats or whatever because I didn't notice that you made it. You upped your. You're the
Well,
only
I
founding
made my
member that
aura go away a little bit just by admitting it,
you
you know?
did. Yeah, I can't believe I missed that.
Do
Oh,
it
thanks,
without
man.
admitting it, that's the real deal, you
That
know?
really makes me feel good. I gotta say, thanks, dude. You made my day. I feel
No,
better now.
I I do genuinely wanna help other people,
Oh,
and
I
I
know,
think
man.
that
You're a good guy.
many of us do, and I try to move the needle for all these different people, and do
Yeah,
they ever
yeah,
come around and, like, move my needle?
no. Hey, I'm a subscriber.
What do you
I'm on
think?
your board. I'm a
You
board
think I'm
member of
just
the Hal
doing
Gill
this for my
Foundation.
entertainment?
That's the thing about being a good person that sucks is you never get paid back for it. You never. My experience. Just get used to it. If you're gonna be a good person, you're gonna get fucked over left and right. Just the way it goes.
Well, I'll tell you, I just ditched out of a group called
Yeah.
Rebellion Dogs,
Yeah. Okay.
to be with you today, and I'm also, gone down to daily provisions. I got my day off, I got 2
Yeah.
days
Yeah.
off in a row.
Okay.
But I went
Well,
down
they're hot,
there
so you're
and
working again at least. That's good. They brought you back after you
yes, more or less. I beefed a little bit about, like, not liking to push the wet mop around for closings because of my shoulder, and I'm an old guy.
I see.
It's
They don't like
really
people
heavy
complaining.
work, right?
It is, yeah, that's not easy work
That's
work.
no joke. So, and it was painful, and I was actually getting to the
Yeah.
point where I felt like
Well,
I
you
was
should have
gonna
said
have
that.
to quit or do something, and they cut
Yeah,
me back
yeah.
to 1 day a week. And then I was like,
That's what you get for opening your
"I
mouth.
think you might have misunderstood me," and my wife
Right.
particularly misunderstood her because she
Uh,
wants me at least to have 3 shifts a week.
well, I'm sure.
But I've been
I'm
getting
sure.
4 since then, and I want 4,
Yeah.
but f
How long are
4
your
is
shifts?
okay.
How long are your shifts? Like, what do you how long do you do?
They can be anywhere from 8 hours to, 6 or is the short one, so
Okay, 6
6
to 8.
hours, sometimes like 9 to 3, and there's a break in there, about a half
Yeah,
an
yeah.
hour. You don't wanna take more than half an hour if you can avoid it. I think people
Yeah.
would look askance at you, but that doesn't feel like enough time, really. When
And
you
it's a hard job, and it's a hard job you're doing. The people and it's just I don't know.
well, the
I
people
don't
I
think I
think
could do
are
it.
mostly good because one of the nice things is the product is really good. Danny Meyer, who's behind this whole
That
thing, is
helps, yeah.
enlightened hospitality. He's written a book about setting the table, and
Yeah,
he has some bigger, higher end restaurants as well as these cafes.
yeah,
And the quality of stuff is good. So you very rarely find people disappointed in what they've got. They just get
yeah,
disappointed about how long they have to wait for it.
yeah, yeah. So it's a busy restaurant then, I
It
take
can
it.
get
They can
slammed, and
probably
it's only got one line in the back. It's really tiny, the
okay,
kitchen area is. So they've
okay.
got one prep person, and then you've got the line cooks and a chef maybe
Yeah,
on
yeah.
duty or a
So
manager.
is it mostly a breakfast place, or you guys do, like, everything?
No,
Dinner and
we
stuff,
do
yeah.
everything pretty much, but it's largely famous for its crullers for breakfast and its,
Crawlers.
egg and cheese, bacon, egg and
I don't even know
cheese.
what the fuck a crawler is. What is a crawler?
Well,
It's
that's the
stupid.
thing, most people don't know, and they don't know
I
how to
think
pronounce it. It's a
I think
double
it's
L, you'd think it would be obvious, it's double L, therefore it's a short U, but most
okay,
people say cruller, which
okay, a
always
crawler. So that's
I'm
like
like,
a,
"Okay, yeah."
pancake, one of those thin pancakes, like a what do you
No,
call those
it's
things?
actually not that's more like a crepe, right?
Crepe, that's what I
This
was
is,
thinking, a crepe. Yeah,
this
crepe,
is
yeah.
like a pastry that looks like a donut, but
Oh,
it's,
okay,
like,
okay, okay.
soft
That's right.
inside. It's
Yeah,
deep
yeah.
fried in canola
It's like a
oil like
donut,
a
yeah,
donut,
like a
but it's
donut.
a pastry, and
I see,
it's,
I
like,
see.
the maple one is the number 5 pastry in New York City according to the New York Times. I
Number
don't know what
5
1 to 4 are, though.
number
And I
5
think they've
pastry in
judged
New York
more
City.
than 5. We're probably not the
Okay,
worst in New York City.
alright. So the same restaurants in New York City in addition to DC, the
A
same name and
lot of
everything?
them. Yeah,
Oh,
he
there's a bunch of
has
'em, okay,
a whole bunch of them there. He has the MoMA, cafe as well,
okay,
Museum of
okay.
Modern Art.
I see, wow, so he's well known, yeah, so that's
Yeah,
yeah.
he's well known, and he's actually on podcasts and stuff talking about his enlightened
Well, why is he not on
hospitality.
your podcast, man? Invite him on.
I should probably, I probably could get him maybe. I
You
mean,
think?
I can get anybody, it seems.
Yeah, you should try.
I got you.
Be awesome. That's right, if you get me on, you can get anybody. Anybody will come on. Tell him I'll be on. If you get him on, I'm on, whatever his name What's his name?
Who?
What's his
Bruno?
name? The guy that you're talking about, the
Oh, Danny
enlightened chef.
Meyer.
No,
Danny
Dynamite, so I'm saying, yeah,
Now,
if
I
you
don't
get him
know
on,
if
I'll
I'm
come on.
actually straying in talking about him or not. I may
I don't think
fall
is
in
that part of
line
the
with
you signed some sort
social
of agreement, you
media.
can't you can't talk
Yeah,
about the owner.
social media thing, but I'm being very positive about it because I
You
think
are.
what it's
You
got
talk
going
you
there,
I
he's
can't say
talking
evil.
about employees are number 1,
Yes.
then his customers, then
Yeah.
his, like,
Well, that's
suppliers or vendors,
yeah.
and then,
I
the
think that's
whole
a good
virtuous cycle.
that's an enlightened way to look at it because many companies don't obviously look at it that way.
And
So,
it's nice to think that that's the case, but
yes.
honestly, I think to
Yes,
some
it's one thing to
extent
say
in
it.
execution,
Yeah.
um,
It's easy to say,
I'm
harder to
sure.
do.
I'm
Really
sure.
hard to do.
It is harder to do because most people who are coming to it, of course, are coming out of the restaurant industry, and it's just another gig.
Yeah, and that's a hard
It's
industry,
to
right, to get
get the
people motivated.
mindset and get the philosophy and stuff,
And
and
it's
really
yeah.
believe it and live it and embody it.
And it's
It's
not a long term it's not a place where
it's
people go to
important.
work the long term, normally for the long term, what I mean?
Apparently not. We're
It's a
having a little
transitional
turn,
yeah, it's a transitional kinda thing, and I get that because
we've
that's
only
the
been there
restaurant
since
industry.
August, and, think we have a lot of the surviving front of the house crew, but apparently they were more heavily staffed initially, and they ended up culling a lot of people who
Yeah,
didn't
well,
work
that
out.
happened. Yeah, yeah, that
But,
happened.
now we've got a fairly good crew coming on, and we're adding to it.
Well,
So we'll see what
are you
happens.
so
So,
who so
another guy rolled
what's the
off.
age mix? What's the age mix of the people working there? Are you like the oldest dude there?
Oh, yeah, by far. I'm like the token geezer.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Calling the token
because
geezer.
it's just
Because that's a young
and
man's
people
industry. The restaurant industry is a young woman's industry for the most part. Seems like to me.
and for people who don't know about it, and they come in there, and I'm the old guy, they think, "Are you the owner?"
Are you the
I
owner?
mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
bet a fair number
yeah.
of them
Right,
believe
right.
I am because of how I
Yeah.
conduct myself with this kind of
Well,
attitude of, "I don't
that's a
really
yeah.
care."
That's good, man. Well,
But
that's
I do
actually
care.
good.
I wanna make sure they're happy.
Yeah.
So, I've got a lot of interest in who they are, what they're
Right.
doing.
I mean,
I've
I
got
think you would be a great ideal employee other than your laziness. But other than that, you're great.
I keep moving, man. So I would like to be able to sit down and take it easy. I've thought about, like, pulling up a chair
They need to
behind
get
the
you, yeah, a
registers.
wheelchair or something. Maybe give you the first wheelchair wheelchair waiter.
Well, yeah, maybe I should
Those
do that. Maybe
scooters.
I should cultivate a
You know,
limp more than
whatever
I
happened
would.
to those scooters? Remember those scooters were going to take over the world? Remember those things? The three wheel thing, the things. Now you don't see those
What do you
anymore,
mean,
do you?
hover round?
Yeah, the hover rounds or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
What were they
hover
called?
round.
Is that
Yeah.
what they're called? But
Man,
I
they're
don't see
called
those
that. I
hardly
think we
anywhere.
still have them as
They
far
still
as I
have.
know. It
Used to be like
I don't think anybody's
they were going
like
to be kind of like drones. They were going to be everywhere, clogging the skies, and everyone's going to be riding one of these three wheel deal, one of these things.
well,
No, it
we
didn't
gotta
quite
get
pan
the
out.
little yeah, I think the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang version would be really nice to have.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can
Well, it
go on the
didn't pan out that
sea,
way.
go in the air.
I think the big
Actually,
cities
our
had
guests
them.
are
Go ahead. Yeah.
probably wondering what the hell this is all about. Should we tell them anything about what this is all about?
Sure. Well, you tell me. I don't know what it's about. I
Well,
just showed up.
we just go live on Harrowing's podcast from time to time. I don't think I'm actually going to title this one Harrowing's podcast. It's often just titled Live with Hal Gill, for better or for worse. And Dan has been a frequent guest here, the Everyday Junglist, as mentioned. It has nothing to do with Carl Jung. That's what I thought
Correct.
initially. That's what a lot of
No,
people think. It
not
has
that I'm not a
nothing
fan.
to do
But
with Carl Jung.
nothing.
Not that he's not a fan.
I'm not a fan, but no, nothing to do with Charlie
And
Young.
the conversations just are free ranging because, we're all trying to figure out how are we going to get from dusk to dawn and back again? And how are we going to make sense of this world we're living in, especially when we're surrounded by all kinds of things that want to kill us?
I
And
think
Dan's more familiar with the things that want to kill us. So I'll give you the microphone.
I was just gonna say I think what spurred today's talk was that I posted something about just feeling a little bit down because it's been a pretty tough 6 months for myself as far as everything. I feel like the world is just crapping on me left and right.
Yeah.
just I'm in the giant world no pile at the moment because I'm hearing no from more people than I've ever heard no from in my freaking entire life, including my area of expertise. I'm not a writer. I've been heard no about my writing for 10 years now, a decade. I'm used to that. That's okay. That's fine. But in my other career, my actual career as a molecular biologist, scientist, research scientist, I've had pretty good success, and I have
Mm.
a network of a long time network of people I know and things in this particular niche area that I work. And it's just like I can't get a job. I cannot find a thing to do in this even in that niche area where I have all this experience and I've been there forever. I know all the people and it just feels like to me everybody has disappeared on me. The people I was hoping would help me have just completely forgotten about me. Or it's like, and it's just it kind of hurts, and it hurts the ego for sure. Which pretty. And then you have Hal Gill blowing his nose while you're talking. You're just like, Jesus, like, can my life get any worse than that?
I was moved. I was so touched.
Oh, I could tell. I could tell you're really feeling bad for me. In any event,
If you didn't laugh
with
about
friends like
it.
Hal, you can't. I feel better
Hey,
already.
wait a second, man.
No wonder. uh,
I don't want to go
all right,
there
Hal.
right
But
now because
anyways,
what you're saying is very important. We're asking
yes,
for
well, very
help.
important.
And
Yes, but
to
it's
be
right.
vulnerable enough to ask for help is pretty fucking
Yes, please
rare.
help me. I'll tell you right now. If you have the power to help me,
Yeah.
I could use some help right now. But it's true. I feel like I'm just in a bad. I just feels like and I know it's mostly feeling because I know in like the grand scheme of things, it's probably compared to what most people go through. It's this is nothing, but it just hurt. It's hard.
Yeah.
And when you're broke and you really want to do something and you just every day you're just sitting there thinking, what the fuck? What else can go wrong? And then you're like, why did I think that? Because you get a phone call or you get an email and you're like, oh, now I see what else can go wrong because it just happened. So, it's
Another thing goes wrong.
another thing goes wrong, and then and then my wife's working 2 jobs, which is just
Oh, she is?
ridiculous,
I
man.
was going to ask about how
And
she's doing.
she's way stressed. So she's supporting the family right now, and
Mm.
it's like so it sucks. Really, I'm not pulling my weight. I'm borrowing money. I'm asking my money for wife every day. I've got to buy
Mm.
whatever stuff I need, and it's just it sucks, man. It just blows.
Yeah, it
But
does. And then the feelings of the role play, I think, that we're
Yeah.
expected to have as men in this society
Yeah,
is
and I'm not one of
dreadful.
those guys. I get you where you're coming from, Hal, and
Apparently, I'm not one
I
either.
don't I don't necessarily feel that way, but I feel like as a partner, a co-equal partner in a relationship, it's on, that's my responsibility to
Right.
pull up my fair share of the deal here, and I'm not doing
I
that right
never
now.
had that problem.
Yeah,
I've been looking to be a kept man since I don't know
right.
when.
Everybody says that until they're in the position, and it sucks.
Well,
It
that's
really
true, and we
it
just
really
did do a
sucks.
little transfer in our case, from my mother-in-law's estate back to sort of make sure we got enough to pay the mortgage and such,
Yeah,
so we gotta keep
and nobody
an
wants to talk
eye
about
on
the money. No
it
one
and
ever wants to talk
watch
about
the
this stuff
leaks.
either. The money stuff, like no one wants to talk about it. It's like this big
Well, we
secret
gotta
about what.
talk about it. Everybody's gotta talk about it because for one thing, the economy is going so weird, if you haven't
Yeah.
noticed.
It is. It is weird. I don't blame the economy for my situation. I really don't. I mean, maybe that's part of it. There is a reluctance to hire, I think, in a general sense, but it's more than that. I think it's more than that, and I'm
You
not
think
sure
it is?
what it is exactly, but I just don't know. I don't know. I think my age is probably part of it too. I think there's a reluctance to hire people, because I'm expensive. I have a lot of experience. I've been around for everybody. Everybody knows that. So you can't, people look at that and say, well, this guy's going to cost a lot of money. And they're right.
Can't afford him.
You can't
Yeah.
afford me. And then and they're probably right.
Um,
They can't afford me, but
it's similar to mine, with enterprise architecture work that I was doing. They're really looking for people who will come on for much lower than what I was getting, so I'm not
yes,
gonna come back in at that level, and if I do come back in at a lower level, it's hard to struggle back up.
it is. Yes.
You'll never get there really because it's the bottom line anymore with the contract companies and the way the government's running, and I don't want a part of it
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
When
yeah,
it comes down to it, I did enough of that stuff over the course of the 20 years I've been back from Denmark,
yeah.
25 years actually.
So, and I could be doing consulting too. There's consulting work out there, but man, it's hard. It's harder than you think to get that kind of stuff. And then I've been doing a lot of this AI training, expert training. So this is my new career is AI expert training, which still scares me, man. I gotta tell you that
You have got some of that?
I'm sorry, what?
You had gotten some of that, you said?
Oh yeah, I've been doing a bunch of it. I've been doing, and so some of it, it's hard to make a lot of money doing it, even when, so for instance, this last job I had, you could make, it was like, so it was $90 an hour is what they were paying, but it was structured so that you had a problem, a challenge. You had basically had you had to come up with a problem that would stump an AI, right? Okay, a biology problem, a problem in biology that the AI could not get the correct answer to. It was essentially, I'm oversimplifying greatly, but that was essentially the task. And for each problem, you got paid $350. Okay, so which is a lot of money for how long you might spend on something like that. So I was only in I'd say do it for about 2 weeks. I spent doing it, and I probably only spent maybe an hour total working on it. I only got I was only managed to get two problems through that actually passed, that actually could stump. It's eight different AIs models you had to actually stump with this problem. And as you know, large language models are very smart. they have a lot of information, right? So it's very difficult actually to stump them with problems, which is why they hire experts like myself to try to do this. And there's a lot of constraints on how you can do it. Obviously it's not as simple as the way I'm making it sound, but so it's really hard to do. But I didn't invest a lot of time, but in the end, I'm out of ideas. It's like, so I made whatever it was, $800 over a course of 2 weeks, even though I only worked about an hour total. But at this point, I'm out of ideas, and I probably tried 100 different variations of different things that didn't work out versus the two that did. And so now I've got to move on and try to find a different AI expert. And there's hundreds of these things, right? And there's more and more popping up every day. And each one requires an interview and a process and all this stuff you go through. And many of them this pay is not great, and the working conditions are shitty as fuck because you're sitting at a computer all day, just basically looking at AI prompts, and it's just it's not exactly great work. But it's right now for me, it's stuff that I can get, and having the expertise helps because not everybody can get these jobs. In fact, most people can't because they're only a lot of the requirements are at the bare minimum PhD, and that many of them want significant experience as well in addition to that. So the problem I have with it though on a philosophical level is the people that are taking these are not experts like myself. They are fake experts from, I'm not going to rag. I don't want to be stereotypical here, but you look across, you look overseas at India and China and
Mhm.
Africa and places where getting a PhD is not exactly the same thing as in some other places. And the quality of technical people is not quite as high. But eventually what's happening is the AI companies, they have to have somebody, and they'll only, the pay they're willing to give is not high enough to get real experts. So I can make $350 an hour as a consultant, say, and they want to pay me $20 an hour to do a similar thing. So if I'm an expert, I'm going to look at that and go, why would I do this? And the big advantage is it's the flexibility of it, where you can do it anytime, from home, which is nice. But consulting is the same sort of some types of consulting are the same way. So it's not a really great deal for most experts actually to do these things. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I'm desperate. But if I wasn't, I would be like, "Are you crazy? Why would I waste my time doing that, or even bother looking at it?" So, and I think that's what they're counting on. It's just desperate people. The more desperate people they have, the better, the better off they are. The more desperate experts that are out there. But most of these experts, so-called experts, they're hiring are not in the U.S. or Europe for the most part. Is my guess. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but anyhow,
You have a sense of it,
I
and
do.
we probably agree with that because, after all, there are an awful lot of hungry mouths out there that need to be
Right,
fed.
and $20 an hour if you're in India is a lot of money. U.S. dollars an hour is a lot of money. That's an upper class living thing. So it's a whole different scale of, and they're not. The pay is the same no matter where you are in the world for these things. So
Yeah,
$20 in Africa an hour and $20 in India an hour goes a long ways. It doesn't go very far, in the U.S.
goes a little
Obviously,
bit further in Tijuana, maybe,
it
but
does a little bit, but now
in
these
San
days
Diego,
not
not
even
so
much.
much.
Yeah, not even much further in Tijuana these days. I mean, we're rapidly catching up with San Diego. I would say the inflation in the U.S. has really hit Mexico, at least this part of Mexico, in a big way. So, and I think
Wow.
it's going to keep that's going to keep happening as more Americans move down here, which is crazy how many people are moving down here because of San Diego is unaffordable. I
Mhm,
mean, it really is unaffordable to live there. I,
mhm.
I feel bad for people that are trying to make it there because everyone's underwater and every day it's getting worse. And I don't see a way out because it's here. Everything's saying prices are going to keep going up, and it's not just groceries or the day to day. It's fuel. It's rent is incredibly ridiculous there, and then also utilities are just out of control. And that's the one thing that Tijuana offers is affordable utilities, affordable gas, and affordable rent.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure the utilities are really wildly different out there where there's
For
tremendous
sure.
water problems, right, out in Southern
Well,
California.
there is, and water's another problem, and we've had water outages already. Every year, every summer, we have water outages, and that will continue and probably continue to get worse as time goes on. And there's no solution here. And as the political situation between Mexico and the U.S. deteriorates, the water situation deteriorates at the same rate because it relies on cooperation. The water situation in this part of the world requires cooperation between Mexico and the United States. If there's no cooperation, there's no water for anybody really. I mean, it turns into a big mess, and it's become politicized, and then it just makes it so much worse, so much
Are they
worse.
still asking if you're a communist when you try to cross the border?
They're not. That was only for 2 days of the week, 3 weeks ago or so. They stopped that pretty quickly because it's causing traffic backups like you would not believe. Tijuana. What happens is there's always something like this that happens, and then I think there's some sort of a secret line between the mayor of Tijuana and somebody in the U.S. government that says, "Dude, you got to stop this shit because it's fucking up traffic because it screws up the city. It really fucks the city big time when they have these issues because traffic backs up so far into Tijuana that it disrupts everything, and everybody gets
Uh,
pissed about it."
when people get asked that question, what the hell do they do?
Yeah, well, you have to
They
say
must
no,
just
and
like it
that's
must
why it took
just
so long.
blown their minds as they were
Correct.
coming to the border there and
Even the
getting out.
CBP agents asking the question were apologizing. They're
Yeah,
saying, "Look,
oh,
we understand this is ridiculous. Okay, but we have to say these things. We have to ask these questions." And of course, some people get pissed about it, and that's why you have these
of
lines,
course, and that's where
and
the
then they start.
backup happens, right? Because they start to
Correct.
have to
And then
hold those
they're seizing
people.
they're seizing phones, and people get very upset when their phone, as you can imagine. If someone takes your phone and says, "I'm gonna unlock it for me, open your Facebook, I need to look at it." Well, you're gonna probably protest that, right?
What?
But you can't win. But you're not gonna win because have to do it. Otherwise, you're not going into the country, or at worst case, they're gonna take your seizure.
That's
They
happening
can take
on the Customs and Border Protection side?
this on going into the U.S. They are demanding to look at people's
Demanding your
phone,
phone and unlock it
and
so they
you
can
have
look
to
at your
unlock it,
Facebook
and they'd have to tell you and if you have Facebook locked or whatever, you have to unlock it for them. If you don't,
to
then
look at your Facebook feed and
correct,
make
because they
sure
want to
that
make sure
you
you
don't
don't
have
there's no
anything
active
there.
terrorist plots, no active terrorist plots is what they're looking
How would
for.
they know? I mean, that
You have to,
just
well, the first they ask you, do you have any active terrorist plots in your Facebook? But then if
yes,
you
I
say no,
do.
then they confirm it. Yeah, then they
What
have
if
to
you say
confirm it by looking.
yes? What happens if you
I
say yes?
don't know. I'm sure it's not good.
It
Whatever it is,
probably
I'm sure it's not
does.
good. And I'm sure people probably jokingly say that, and you don't want to joke when
Right, and that's
with
why
people,
your
obviously.
traffic jam happens.
Correct. This is not a joking situation, and you
No,
have
it's
to
not really a
cooperate.
joking situation, nor is it a joking situation that it's even happening.
That is
And,
correct.
uh, and we're allowing it at some level to have happened
Right.
by dint of, you know, what we collectively, this is where I go back to, we collectively have established this world in which we're trying to navigate, and
Yeah.
where Dan should be working for some firm, some pharmaceutical,
I don't know what. No, not pharmaceutical.
some
No, please.
huge biotech firm ought to
Yeah.
be
Right.
hiring Dan.
I
I
don't know
mean,
about that, but somebody should be for something.
where are those guys? And you should have a pension, you know?
Yes, I do have a pension actually from DuPont, my DuPont days.
Well, that's good. Good to hear.
I'm one of
How
the
is
last. I'm one of the
DuPont these
last.
days?
They're almost gone completely. They are
How are
almost.
they?
There's no longer. There's still a small part of DuPont, but they're all different companies now. Like they
Well,
split up into all these companies.
my my brother-in-law is of the DuPont family.
Really, the actual
Yeah,
DuPont family. Really,
yeah.
huh,
My sister married into the DuPonts basically
I
by
see.
marrying her
And
husband.
he's not like he doesn't have like some sort of genetic malformation because they all have some sort of like genetic problems.
Actually, that might explain a lot. I don't know. What's funny is he and I have like February birthdays. He's February 2, like
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day, and I'm February
Uh,
4. So I think my sister is working out some brother issues there, maybe.
huh.
He's kind of like a bigger, goofier version of me.
It's a really old company, a 200-year-old company. When I joined, a 200-plus-year-old company,
Yeah,
which is
exactly. And the
amazing,
family
amazing.
has gobs of money, so
Yeah.
I
Well, they
think his
did.
family, his parents had never had to work.
Yeah. That's
You
that
know, they'd had
surprised me.
been on trust fund basically thing, and they'd done
Yeah.
things that they'd wanted to do,
Yeah.
like socialites do. Must be
Yeah.
nice. I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, and even when I went to work for there, the scientists there, the senior scientists, came from that era where they just worked on
Mhm.
whatever they wanted because it was the way it was. It was like, okay, what do you want to work on today? It was. I mean, it must have been just fantastically fun because they were, these are brilliant
They could
scientists, brilliant,
experiment.
brilliant researchers. They just get to work on whatever because there's no, they didn't have to worry about what the business wanted or not, or if it made any sense. But that's how you got great inventions like Nomac, Tyvek and nylon and all this stuff because these guys were just allowed to go nuts in the lab and work on whatever the fuck they wanted to, and they didn't care about business need or anybody need this or anybody want this. They're just like, I don't care. This is interesting. I'm going to spend the rest of my life working on it, and they would develop some incredible things in Kevlar and like all the things that DuPont invented was because of that model of work on whatever the fuck you want and we'll pay you, and hopefully something pans out. But then that model it just completely is not the case anymore. They completely nobody is in their right mind does something like that these days, and you sort
Well,
of
I know
understand it,
some
but
people not in their right mind then, because I've got a friend who patented a drum head. It's not just Kevlar. He's some sort of special synthetic blend of different materials that
yeah,
makes these super drum heads.
yeah.
And
But did he
so
work for? But was he working for a company at the time, or he did it on his own?
he's working for his own company called Loyal
Well,
Drums,
that's yeah,
and he
that's
had
different,
inherited basically the drum manufacturing side from Cooperman Drums up in
right? Right.
Vermont or some. I'm not sure where they were
Yeah,
based, New Hampshire,
yeah,
somewhere up there in there, New England. And
yeah,
he's down here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Got himself a little factory there.
yeah,
And it's amazing because he had to have some of his equipment had to be cleared by like the Nuclear Regulatory Commission because it could be used to refine um, uranium. I don't even know what he's.
You make drum, you need to make drum heads. Very interesting. But there's plenty of brilliant people out there. Hal, it's not that there aren't brilliant people, and there aren't brilliant people with their own companies.
And they
But
have funding from
but
somewhere,
right,
right?
but in the big
Or
industry,
in a niche. In his
yeah,
case, it's a niche because there aren't a lot of people making rope tension
for
drums
sure,
of
for
the
sure.
kind of quality he makes.
But I mean, but the
So,
big companies, there are not R&D departments nowadays where they're just like, do go work on what you want to work on. That sounds, that's interesting. It's we have to have a business case. Here's the need. We have to have VOC. We have to have this is the process where we find out what
so to
it's a
have
whole
your
process. And
then
that's the smart way to do it because
basic
otherwise
checklist.
you're wasting a shit ton of money working on shit that doesn't pan out. But at the same time, that model also, by its very nature, it restricts it makes it hard to have those huge breakthroughs
Creativity. Yeah.
because it restricts creativity in a big way, which is good because creativity is expensive, right? It costs money to be creative because a lot of things fail, especially on the scientific side. Almost 90% of things fail, or
Mm.
more. So you're gonna spend a lot of money for maybe one huge hit, and 90% of shit's gonna completely fail and cost you a shit ton of money. And if since you can't predict that, nobody wants to have that model, and I get that. But it still would be interesting if somebody was willing to. But even the guys, even like the guy like the Gates Foundation, like the guys that have tons of money that could do that, could support that kind of model, won't support that kind of model even the Elon Musk of the world, the dickhead guys of the world, they won't do that. They want to have a business. Here's the business. We need to see whatever. This is the output. Maybe Google's whatever thing does that model. Even that I
Google
highly
X,
doubt. Yeah, I
yeah,
doubt it. I still think that they have projects.
innovation.
Yeah, they're not going to say work on whatever you want because have fun with it. Go for it. Because I'm pretty sure they don't do it that way. But somebody could do that. Could go back to that
Go
way
back
of
and
working.
finish my certification with Astra Teller and his crew at Google X. They did one of those masterclass certification things that they
Yeah.
rolled out.
Okay. I never heard of it. What is it? I never heard of them. What do they do? What were they?
Well, they are, and
Or
I
they are. So they still
guess
do
I
them.
gotta go back and take it up again. Pretty well developed courses, actually. They're pretty good
In
polish on them. I did the one
in what
for
in
Navy
what in a
SEAL leadership one.
Navy SEAL leadership? Okay.
There's a one done by the Navy SEALs for leadership development.
Cool.
And that wasn't too hard to run through, but the believe it or not, but the one for innovation from Astra Teller's thing was a little more challenging, and you really had to have your idea well formulated. Of course, my idea is
Aren't well formulated, generally speaking.
well, they're
Those
they're too broad, and they're
they're too, uh,
probably too
what's the,
dangerous to implement.
right? Sure. Sure. Of course they are. Too dangerous.
Particularly because I do think I'm really jaded on the whole AI consultant thing. I did get a certification in AI consultancy, as you know, from the U.S.
I did not know that.
Institute
No,
of
I did
Diplomacy
not.
and Human Rights.
I
Yeah,
did not know that. But
yeah,
it's
it's
not helped you though. I can see it's not
I've
helped you.
not actually tried to use it much at all. I got kind of jaded on the whole thing as I studied it and as
Okay.
I've been working with it. And you've had hands-on work now and trying to train the
Plenty.
thing
Uh,
as well. And I'm just feeling like we're barking up the wrong tree here
yeah.
in
Well,
a
it's got
massive
weaknesses.
way, and it's causing this
Yeah.
sort of
There's a economic
circular
mismatch.
brain kind of thing
Yeah, there's a
happening.
lot of money. There's a lot of money going into it, and it's nothing, and it's draining money from other things where money really could be spent. I think more effectively. I
And
think
it's
that
draining
happens.
jobs apparently because
I mean,
people
the
are
internet
afraid to
was the
hire.
same way. I mean, the internet was the same way when it came out. I mean, everybody dumped all their money into the internet, thinking, and it's going to pan. And many things did pan out, but many things did not. So I don't know. I think hopefully the people will come to their senses on this AI thing and recognize it for what it is, and we'll move on. We'll continue to. It'll improve. People will continue to improve, and we'll figure out a good, steady medium. But maybe
Right, you
not.
don't
Maybe
think we're heading towards the great die-off?
I have no idea what we're heading towards. But I hope I'm heading towards a great Dan get a job off because right now that's in my future.
That would feel
I
much better, I'm sure.
right now it's hard for me to focus on the big picture and the big questions like that because I'm
Well,
I'm
right.
so focused on the myself and what I need to survive, and so which sucks because I like thinking about the big questions and the big philosophical issues of what's going to happen, and I like writing about those things. But when you're not able to make ends meet,
When
on
you're
the
in a
basic
panic,
stuff, yeah, it's hard to focus on that stuff. You lose focus. You say stupid shit all the time, which I do anyways, but it's
you can
exacerbated.
do it in an entertaining way, it's fine.
Right, right. And I hate the fact that I'm holding back. Like, there's many things I've written that I'm now no longer publishing because I'm trying to see, okay, can I monetize this somehow? Can I sell this to somebody? And just learning about this no reprint policy bullshit, which is basically cost me how much money it's cost me. But I've got a huge catalog library, 2,000 plus articles, pieces of content that I've published on either this my Substack blog or other blogs that are basically useless, as far as financially
Because they were
useless.
monetized once, you
Well,
can't
they have been monetized. They weren't monetized, but they were published. And so once you've published something online, that's considered a publication event. And now any publication that says they will not publish reprints, which is 90% of them, 90% plus, you can't don't bother, don't even submit anything. So it's like these works that I think are particularly really really good, that's seen by 20, 30 people, that I could potentially send to a magazine where they might be seen by a few thousand people, are off the table because I published them for free, 20, whatever, 5 years ago, and they got 10 views, and so now, which is complete bullshit. But the publishing industry has their reasons. All their reasons are incorrect, and I've written an article which describes exactly why. But again, I can't publish it because I'm trying to find an outfit that will publish it because I'm not going to publish it on my Substack till I'm certain I can't find somebody else to publish it that will get more views. And I've had no luck
well, I
so
hope
far, actually,
no,
with that.
a lot of no's.
A lot of
A
no's
lot of
and
no's.
a lot of very crazies, and because it's sort of it hits on a cornerstone founding principle of the publishing industry that they don't want to think about or talk about. And, it's a policy that from 20 years ago. I think maybe it made sense 30 years ago, pre-internet. Maybe it made sense. Even then, it's a little bit questionable if it made sense. But today, when everybody can publish anything for free on a blog or a personal thing and get 0 view, to say, something gets 1 view, oh, sorry, you've lost first. Now all of a sudden it's not. You publish that, it's not the first time it's been published. It makes no sense, dude. It's just complete bullshit. It makes no sense. And it's the magazines like the New Yorker and Harper's and these fancy pants, whatever fancy pants people, guys, that are driving this because they have this whole prestige thing they're worried about. Well, we want to say we discovered so and so. This is the first place he was ever published. He never published anywhere else before, and we
They
discovered him.
tell you that?
Well, that's what they don't say that, but that's what they're
Oh,
actually thinking. That's my belief as to what they're actually thinking. And that's the only thing I can think of as to why this matters to them, because it's the first. We discovered this guy, and if you've published something else, and of course they also don't want you to say, well, I pay for this magazine, I read this, but I could have read it for free. That's the other argument. But if I'd found this guy's blog, his personal blog, I could have read this article I just paid for free. Okay, but dude, 20 people in the world saw this article, and that just doesn't happen. It's a fake argument. There's also this thing with Google for indexing for Google Analytics, where if an article, a particular story is listed on more than one website, it subtracts from the way that it counts it as a read. So it does hurt the magazine's analytics, but it's in such a minor, it's such a small blip on the screen compared to in the grand scheme of the page views, this effect, that it's really not real. And it's just, again, it's an excuse. I think mostly the reason they have this policy is because that's the way it's always been done, and they just haven't thought to question it, why they're doing it. Because and
yeah.
everyone else does it. So that's the argument, basically. Everyone else does it, so we're going to do it too, is what I've come down to.
I'll have to look into it a little more, but this writer named Lewis Hyde wrote something about copyright in particular, and I
This is not a copyright thing
it's
necessarily. That's not really what this is about. It's not about copyright.
more about
It's about who discovery, really discovery of a person, and a discovery of an author, and discovery of works, and the first to publish it, sort of thing. So I think the owner of the work owns the work, no matter where it's published, whether it's published here or there, and no matter what time it's published. So that's not the issue. It's really more about other ancillary issues, which really don't make a lot of sense. And maybe I'll share the article I wrote with you, Hal, because I can share it with people individually. I just can't publish it. But
right.
it describes all. There's 4 or 5 basic arguments they use or have been used to justify this no reprint policy, and all of them fail spectacularly upon close examination, especially for new writers and writers like myself with no audience, basically, who have very little popularity, and almost none of their stuff gets read by anybody. So none of the because most of the arguments rely on the fact that for popular writers who publish something, you don't want to publish something a second time that's already been published, that's been seen by thousands or tens of thousands of people already. I get that, but for the majority, 90% of writers, that's not the case. They're like me. They maybe their articles get 50 views if they're lucky, on a good day. So it just all those arguments fall apart, and for most writers, I would say.
All you need to do is connect to a lobbyist who can change the legislation to.
Yeah, and this is not a law. This is a
Well,
policy.
it needs to be a law.
Clear. Yeah,
We
maybe
need to do some end run around it.
Yeah,
I'm going to
maybe.
be in DC. Let's see if we can find out.
I've been bitching about it. Every time I submit something to a magazine that has one of these policies, I make a little jab, and I tell them, I ask them, why do you have this policy? Have you looked at it recently? Have you examined it? Have you talked to your legal team or whatever? You want to talk to your policy people, and they don't have these magazines or run of the mill website deals. Have you thought about it seriously? Why do you have this policy? And I think my guess is most of them haven't thought about it, or they've always had it, or everyone else has it, so they just figured, well, that's the way it's done, and so I'm going to do it that way. Now, I don't know. If anybody in the audience here is a publisher, maybe you can tell me a different perspective, because I'd love to hear it. I've heard every argument that someone has told me of what they believe as to why this is the case. I've dismantled, and so I'm happy to dismantle more arguments.
Well, our
as to why this is needed.
Have not weighed in yet.
Yeah, well, probably no publishers here.
Yes, totally. Well, I think the bathrobe guy, or Robes, as he's known, may actually do publishing. So
where's my bathrobe, by the way, Mr. Bathrobe guy? He promised me a bathrobe at one
point,
and I don't know if he promised it. I asked for one. He said it was a good idea, so I assumed that was a promise. Hey, bathrobe guy. By the way, I'm still waiting for my bathrobe. And EJ is the initials you can put on it, and then just send it to me. Compliment to the bathrobe guy.
Monogram.
Right, yeah, the monogram.
I'm wearing my Seva one here.
Yeah.
I'm very big into Seva. I don't know, man. I do feel for you in that situation with wanting your writing
Well,
to be
yeah,
out
it's
there
not
where
just
people
me. I
can
mean,
get
I'm
it.
not the only one in the situation. I
Right.
think a lot of people have
Exactly.
probably done it, are in this situation where they've published a bunch of stuff online for
And
free.
maybe we need to unionize.
Unionize, yeah. I don't know. There might be a writers union. I don't know.
Workers
Is
of the
there?
world unite, you know?
Yeah, but I don't think it's like that because I don't think it's like a publishers against writers. Like it's this big evil monolith of
It's
people.
just accidental.
I think
I
it's
had a
sort of
situation
accidental, right? Or
I had
lack
a
of
situation.
awareness. And mostly,
Yeah,
it's not an evil intent. They're trying to profit off of writers by doing this thing. I don't think that's the case. It's like
this is
a bunch
not a
of work
really
slave
good
labor.
this is not a really good analogy, but I'm gonna tell the story anyway if I can, which is that there was a time when I worked in the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation as a conservation technician where the conservators and the curators were merged together into one department.
Right.
Usually curators and conservators don't mix too well
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
conservators are saying,
I
"Don't
wouldn't.
touch it, don't even
I
look at
wouldn't
it."
know. I wouldn't know, but that's interesting. Now that I thought about it, that makes sense. That would make sense to me.
So yeah, but anyway, they curators work 37 and a half hours a week.
Okay. That seems low to
The
me, but okay.
conservators worked a 40-hour week.
Okay.
For the salaried employees, it didn't matter. But for
Okay.
the
Right.
hourly employees, who were the conservation technicians like me, it
You were
did
working
matter.
out like a
So
yeah.
they cut the conservators back to 37 and a half hours a week to make it equitable with the curators up
Okay.
there at that level, the fancy people. And then there's us little grunts out there out doing the, legwork in the
Actual
mornings
work.
in the historic area, looking after all the condition of the antiques that are scattered up and down the whole, mile long length of the town. And, but this meant that in order to get because the, merit reviews would come along and you get
Yeah.
maximum of 3% back. This was cutting us back to the point where it'd take us 3 years just to get back up to even on our earning power we had before they made
Right.
that change and cut us
Okay.
back to 37 and a half hours a week.
So it wasn't a pay cut.
Uh,
It was a time cut. It was a time
It
cut.
was a time cut. Yeah, but it was only affected the, grunt hourly
Yeah.
workers. And
Yeah.
I thought, this
Yeah.
ain't right. I knew I was going back to graduate school anyway, so I decided I'd make an issue of it. And I ran it up through the entire hierarchy of the
So was it
foundation. I
union? Was
went
it
to my
unionized?
director,
It
and he
was not
couldn't get
unionized,
close.
right? It was
Hey?
not unionized. You guys were not unionized,
No, no,
correct?
no. No, no,
So
this is a, nonprofit
yeah.
foundation.
All right. All right. Okay.
It's,
No. Yeah.
set up by the Rockefeller,
That's right.
bought my whole damn town.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had to go to my director. He said, "No, can't do anything about it, sorry." And I went to the,
So you went
um
over his head. You went over his
went
head.
over his head to the
Nice.
vice president. He
Oof.
said, "No, sorry, we can't do anything about it."
I
And I
bet your
said,
boss was pissed about that. You don't want to ever go over your
"Well,
boss's head.
fine. I'm going to go to the ombudsman," because they had an ombudsman. He had
Okay.
been
All right.
previously our director of human resources, and so the family knew him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not like an unknown quantity there, but I also was like this person who was very hard to shut me up once I
Yeah.
started to get righteously angry about something.
I
So I
got you.
went, and it
Yeah.
also wasn't about me. It's kind of like what you were saying. This is about other people are being impacted by this, like
Yeah.
the other
Yeah. I get you.
writers you're talking about are being impacted by this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go up to the ombudsman. He takes my case and says, "Okay, fine. We'll sit down with the president of the whole damn foundation of this 4,000 employee place and have it your hearing." And he saw it my way.
Who did? The
And
ombudsman
the president did,
or the president
and
did? So he changed it
and
back.
he did what he needed to do to raise our
Yeah. Good for you.
salaries enough that it would be equal. And I
You
said,
make
"I'm
up
not
for it.
looking for anything special. I'm just
So
looking for
you
not slipping back
not
for no
slipping.
good
Okay.
reason."
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, the law there, this is the analogy,
Yeah.
wasn't about anything that was trying to specifically do
Be
anything
evil or anything.
evil to
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah.
It was just negligence. It
Ignorance
was just
or
like not
ignorance.
paying
And
attention,
ignorance.
not
Yeah.
caring
Not
because it
seeing what the
didn't
impact.
hurt me.
Correct. It's not always not caring. It's sometimes it's just you don't see it. I mean, it's your
Yeah, I don't
ignorance
see it. And
because you
it
don't
was
think
it
about it.
was right there. It was very easy to do the math from my
Yeah. Yeah.
perspective.
Right. Right.
And I had very little to lose because I knew I was going to be leaving the foundation anyway. And I've
So you went in
left.
there with a big. Did you go in there with like a presentation? You had like a presentation, or you just went in there just talking
Oh
to the guy?
yeah, yeah. I had my numbers and everything, and it was
Oh,
not a
good for you.
big presentation, but at
Yeah,
least
I
I
get
had
you.
my numbers,
I
so
see.
I could say, "Look, look what you're
Did
doing here."
now
And
did
by the
your part?
way, you're
Did your
putting me in a
fellow?
position where to get back to the earning power I had, it would take me
Yeah.
3 years at the rate
Yeah.
of increases you do around
Right.
here.
Right.
That's not fair.
So
and you're really hurting the people who have no
are doing all
defense,
the work, and they're doing all the work. Yeah,
and they
they're doing
might
the work.
actually leave you because why would they stay?
Yeah.
Maybe you do want us to leave. In that case, and I pointed out, hey, if the foundation was in trouble and they needed me to take a pay cut, that'd be fine. But that's not what's happening here.
Right. It was a different
This is
thing.
not a
Yeah.
cost-cutting move you're making here. This is a different kind of move. Later I would find that whole, thing would have
Yeah.
blown up in my face eventually anyway, I'm sure.
Did they help you? So did your fellow technicians thank you for that? Were they like, "Oh, way to go, Hal"? Or nobody cared. Nobody cared.
I don't know. I didn't look
No one
for
said
it.
they didn't throw
You
you a
know,
big party. They go,
I
"Way
don't
to go,
know.
Hal."
I didn't even
You
look
don't know.
for it because
Yeah.
I
Well,
think they knew I'd done it and I put my ass on the
okay.
line, but I think they also were
But no
like,
one said thanks. No one said thanks, Hal. You helped
I
me here.
don't remember. It's been a long
That's
time ago,
no, that's bullshit,
but
man. Somebody
you
should
know,
have said thank you.
they probably should have, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't because, maybe
Did
they
they not
didn't
even
care
notice?
that much,
Maybe they didn't even notice. Half the people probably didn't even notice their pay was cut. I mean, they may not even have
or
done
their
some
pay came back
calculation.
up.
Yeah, or that it came back up.
That's
They
what
may
it should have been.
yeah,
I think I
or
actually said that they really ought to make it retroactive so we didn't lose anything.
yeah, and did they do that? Did they do
I
that?
think they might have. I don't
Oh,
remember.
good for them. That's good.
I don't think I even have the records anymore of
There
all
you
that
go.
stuff.
Grassroots activism works.
Somewhere in my files
Grassroots.
around here, I might have a pile of papers that tell me
An
about that.
example of grassroots activism actually working. All right, Hal, I gotta go. Good talking
Well,
to you, man.
it's been good talking and hang
Yeah, you
in
too.
there.
Hang in
I'm
there.
sure that
Yes.
something will break your way one of these days.
One of these
And if
days,
not, we'll
hopefully the
talk
next.
about it.
Right. My next one will be from the
Talk it to death.
street corner of Tijuana. I'll be out of my home, and we'll be doing the next one of these from the
Yeah, I
street
got to
corner
go
there
down and
by the
get my
border.
wife a salad soon. So I'll talk to
All
you.
right, see ya. See you,
Bye.
man. Later, guys. Thanks for joining everybody.